Hello everybody, welcome to a deck tech for Omnath, Locus of Creation, CEDH. We are playing Birthing Pod real hard with lots of cool ways to win. We are going to use this wonderful artist proof done by both the artists. His wife never got the artist credit, but we have a wonderful artist proof to show off this awesome deck and what it does. So anything that is printed out is off to be signed. So we have a birthing pod suite. So we're trying to pod as much as possible. We're birthing pod, we're finding as many creatures as possible. This is definitely a creature deck. So as we were looking for the creatures, we were looking for certain combos. My favorite combo in this deck would be a combination of Dockside Extortionist. When he comes down, Dockside is trying to make as many treasures as possible. I believe Dockside needs to make 6 treasures or more for this to happen. Dockside comes down, makes 6 treasures. I mutate Lord Drakis onto Dockside Extortionist with a bounce spell in my graveyard. So bounce spell in the graveyard, Lord Drakis mutates, targets the bounce spell then comes back to my hand, and I target this now 1 creature, that goes in the graveyard, these 2 come back to my hand. I should have 1 mana after all that, because that's 2 mana, 2 mana, 1 mana. There's a couple other bounce spells in the deck that you'll see that cost 2 mana, so if that happens, then Dockside needs to make 7 mana. So if I do this, it's an infinite loop of making infinite treasures, continually coming back and casting Dockside, Chain of Vapor, and Lord Drakis. Obviously, this doesn't happen very easily if someone has a Rhystic Study or some way of drawing, but we're doing our best. If people don't have that, which you should get rid of those on the battlefield, this is how we're going to do it. Once I do that, I cast an Omnath. I can continue the loop, bouncing these, but instead of Dockside, who's back in my hand, I will then Lord Drakis onto my Omnath and bounce my Omnath Lord Drakis, drawing as many cards as I want. Once I get to do that, then I play a Destiny Spinner. Destiny Spinner allows me to activate one of my lands and then flicker that land with MEL. MEL can also flicker Omnath. So I'm going to make a land, a creature, with Destiny Spinner, flicker with MEL, make it a creature, flicker with MEL 3 times. Omnath is going to deal 4 damage to my opponents, and then I'm going to flicker Omnath to reset him. Repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat until everyone's dead. Every time I flicker Omnath, obviously I'm going to shuffle I'm going to draw a card. So you don't draw your entire deck right away. You draw it until you find these 2 pieces, and then do it as many times as possible. There's also a Time Twister in the deck, so that resets it, and no one's going to be higher than that life total. More combos, MEL and Dockside. Those are great things to go get with your Birthing Pod. Birthing Pod for 2, Birthing Pod for 4. Boom. As long as Dockside makes 4 treasures, you then have infinite mana, infinite flickers for Omnath. Draw your deck with infinite mana, find whatever you'd like. We also have, because it's a pod deck, we're going to have a Kiki Jiki, which also, again, with Omnath and Dockside and all that good stuff, Kiki Jiki is just really good by himself. End of turn, draw a card, making a copy of, or not of him, but making a copy of Dockside Extortion. There's a couple things you can make copies of in the deck that are just really, really good. But we also are going to play Restoration Angel and Felidar Guardian, which is, again, good with Omnath. Because we are podding, getting to 4 and 5 is really easy for us. If you've ever played a pod deck, 3, 4, 5 are all really easy to get to. We're also drawing a whole ton, so if you draw 1, we can pod into the other, and then you have infinite everything. Even if you don't have infinite anything, Felidar Guardian can come and flicker a Gaia's Cradle, which is arguably a free card to put out there, and Restoration Angel can protect any of the creatures, as this is a creature deck, as well as just end of turn, flicker my Omnath, draw a card. Same thing with Felidar Guardian, can just draw a card. Or you can just go and kill everyone. So, what we are attempting to do as well is do this long string of combo. So I am trying to Intuition, hopefully, for these 3 cards. Once I get these 3 cards, I can make infinite mana, or close to infinite mana, or at least be able to cast Intuition again, go grab my, a 2-card combo and a Brain Freeze, and bring myself, and mill myself out with a Underworld Breach, and then find a Kiki Jiki combo or something like that. Or brain freeze everybody to death. So this is a wonderful package. Every card is useful in the deck. kind of except for Lion's Eye Diamond. That's like the only dead card in the deck, and that's why I like playing this over any Thassa's Oracle stuff, because it just feels like there's a lot of dead cards in those decks. So now we're going to go into our utility. So with the Death of Hullbreacher, I am now feeling okay to play these 3 cards. This is real. This is real. Obviously, Time Twisters are very hard to find, but I found this great arted Magic Online artist, or the artist that made the Magic Online Time Twister, Matt Stewart, made, I think, 4 of these for a Vintage Championship back in 2012. They went online for sale, and I picked that up as my Time Twister. I absolutely love that. I think it's so cute. Obviously, you're going to run all your normal things that a CEDH deck would run. Of course, you have like Mana Crypts and all that stuff, all the good blue stuff. I made my own foil Mystic Remora by foil peeling. It's not wonderful, but it's definitely not bad. Chrome Mox, obviously, Mana Crypt, Mox Diamond, Rhystic Study. We are not playing Sol Ring in this deck. In the comments, tell me if I'm fucking up. But everything I'm playing is very mana intensive. Obviously, getting to a wheel or something would be really nice, really fast. But Sol Ring does so little for me when my commander costs 4 mana of different colors, when I want to put out a Birds of Paradise on my turn 1. You know, I want to preordain all that stuff. Speaking of, this is the only altar done by another altarist in my deck. This is fully painted onto a Birds of Paradise. Unbefrickin-leavable. Truly something to aspire to. Again, with those bounce spells I was talking about, where are all my bounce spells? I have a Winds of Rebuke as well as an Unsubstantiate. I think those are my 3 bounce spells to use with Lord Drakis. Also, because we're playing a lot of wheels, it's really good as well. So I can bounce your problem thing and then wheel everybody. Obviously, we're going to run a Preordain, which is the best art ever. I got a Contemplation, which is a French Ponder. Brainstorm, again, I get to play Brainstorms again now that Hullbreacher is gone. I have the Stamp, which I really like stamps for. This is when Chris Rush died. His estate said we were going to make 1 stamp. Everyone send in your Chris Rush cards. We're going to stamp it, and then we're going to burn the stamp. So this is one of those back in 2016. This card's just a good card. This card's just a good card. That card's just a good card. I made this Carpet of Flowers foil. I think that looks dope. Smothering Tithe. Obviously, I really like the really crazy miscuts, and of course, everything is very signed in my deck. This is a good card. That is a good card. This is one of my altars. Of course, you just got to play the good cards. Playing Pod. There are a couple cards that are just wonderful to have while playing Pod, and just to have in general. I mean, when I play, what's that card? The Eldritch Evolution on my Omnath, I can get a Consecrated Sphinx, which is really nice. I can pump that out really, really fast. I got a Phyrexian Metamorph, Phantasmal Image, and a Spellseeker. Spellseeker obviously is going to get me everything I want. Phantasmal Image is just amazing. And then Phyrexian Metamorph, I have found, has been really, really good. It is not needed, but potting for it or having in your hand for 3 mana, because life really doesn't matter in this deck because I gain so much of it. 3 mana is so cheap. Absolutely so cheap to have a clone effect, even on an artifact, just in case something really goes wrong and you need to clone yourself an artifact. Sorry for bouncing this around. This is just a good card section. These are just cards that you should have in a deck that does what this does. So we have Force of Vigor. I have the French Delay. Collector Oof, of course. I'm running a very, very small amount of mana rocks. Pod, obviously, is a rock, but sometimes slowing everyone down so hard with Collector Oof, you know, you're like, Pod, get something, and then you Collector Oof. Like, Pod's already pretty much done its job, because you're going to be way ahead if you Pod for the right stuff. Gilded Drake, of course, signed. I love that. Meltdown, if you've seen me play CEDH on, who were the people I played with? Play to Win. I played a Meltdown and literally defeated someone because of a Meltdown. You know, Pack Negation, Mental Misstep, this is one of mine. Weep. Dispel, I keep on going back and forth if I want Dispel or Spell Pierce. I think that Dispel's better. This deck is obviously I have like 3, 4, 5 different ways to win. I'm really trying to go for those, but I also you know, protecting yourself is a big deal in this deck. Dovin's Veto. I got a Swan Song signed. I love the gold signature on that. The Wear and Tear sign looks really cool. Ephemerate works really well in this deck to get yourself more mana with Dockside. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that you can flicker. Sometimes I get Ephemerate with, if I have just a ton of mana, I'll get, with Spellseeker, I'll get Ephemerate to do her again, like twice. And it also protects. It protects what you're looking for. So you play a Dockside, someone tries to kill your Dockside. This deck is very Dockside dependent. You can protect it for 1 white mana. Silence, another one of mine. Veil of Summer, I love his signature. Nature's Claim, of course, is just good. Pyroblast. Flusterstorm, this card took a journey to China to get signed by Erica Yang, and she gave me a heart on it. It looks awesome. Force of Will, yes, I do have some pretty expensive cards in this deck, this one being one of them. Force of Negation, Unsubstantiate, again, that's that bounce spell. This thing works in a combo, but also can counter uncounterable things. It's amazing. And of course, a Cyclonic Rift. I mean, I'm just going through all the things that you're going to need to play CEDH. Miscast. Those are all just like a control suite. Things to make sure that people can't do all the things they want to do. So, we have a couple Mana Dorks. We're not going crazy with Mana Dorks because I'm going for a lot of combos. However, you know, turn 1 Mana Dork is pretty easy to get in this deck. I'm not looking for more Land of War Elves-like cards. It just doesn't help me. I need other colors. So I make a green, I need to be able to make a blue. I make a green, I need to be able to make a red. So this is not really, you know, like this is definitely, if they come out with a better Mana Dork, goodbye Land of War Elves. But this, I mean, I have an alpha Land of War Elves with that. Oh, I love that signature. The gold like kind of flashes in there. Of course, I have as much things signed as possible, including extremely rare chippy signature. It's not on a foil, unfortunately, but, you know, it's what it is. Then we get to the lands. Omnath is running 30 lands. I know in CEDH everyone wants to run 28 or more, but I am not running a ton of mana rocks. So, and also Omnath loves his lands. I think 30 is very nice. I'm running a ton. I think I'm running 9 fetch lands. Opposition Agent is not as big. Is not as big in at least my meta. So I kind of just have the really awesome looking ones to show, because, you know, it's getting late in this. My signed Gaia's Cradle is my most expensive signed card I have. Signed Stomping Grounds, you don't want to know how long waiting for a Minium signature is. It's for a long time. I have an unlimited Tropical Island that's signed back in 2016. I got some Noah Bradleys. I have an awesome Unicorn Blood, Mana Confluence. I really like the Expeditions. I'm close to getting all of them. I think that they just look the best. I have a Miscut City of Brass signed, Exotic Orchard signed, Savannah, obviously you get a million of those signed, and then I run one basic, and it's an island. I got my favorite island. And then just your normal land suite. You run Tarnished Citadel in there and Waterlogged Grove because you gain so much life. This is definitely a very Simic deck, so you gain so much life, it doesn't matter if you're losing a life. And then if things really go bad, because, you know, I'm not playing Thrasios or something, I could just sack it and draw a card. And then Tarnished Citadel is just an amazing card for this deck. Losing 3 life whenever you're tapping it is not a big deal. So that's my deck tech for Omnath, Locus of Creation. Trying to win through a lot of Dockside stuff, a lot of Pod, Geeky Jeeky, and then, of course, we just go with an Underworld Breach combo just because it's so reliable and so good, and I'm running most of the cards anyway, so it was easy to slot that in to be as dangerous as possible. Thank you for watching. If you like things like this, please tell me you made it to the end of the video, and I can go through even more awesome decks that I have, or ways that I play Magic. All right, see ya.